Should I go ahead, Kamilah?
Nope, I'll get started. Hey, my
Oh,
friends.
okay.
We are totally live right now, and I'm so excited because we have a special guest on our show today. But before we get started, I want to do some grounding. I want to thank all of the individuals who came on our Zoom today, and anyone who wants to introduce themselves, they definitely can. I'm Kamilah Bywaters. I'm running for the Board of School Trustees in District E. That area is Summerlin, out towards Blue Diamond. And I do go down towards Sahara and Decatur, left to the 95, back up to Summerlin. So I really look forward to running this race hard. And we're not taking anything lightly because, as you know, with everything that has changed within our the presidency and who's running, Kamala, I feel like some of these MAGAs are going to be waking up from the dead. So this is going to impact everyone from top to down ballot. So we need all hands on deck for every race across the ballot. And I really look forward to working with our community, to building our community, ensuring that in education, that our voices are valued, that our students have a quality education. I'm concerned about educators. Educators, listen, I'm here for you. I want us to come back to the table to talk about these contracts. There is no reason why new teachers should have gotten a raise to make more money than our veteran teachers. Listen, my mentor, let me tell you one of my mentors. Her name is Dominique Cooper. I was able to get her as a mentor. Big shout out to Dominique Cooper. She's in Georgia. Because I was able to earn the run for something endorsement. They connected me with Dominique Cooper, who is also an emerged sister in Georgia, who also ran for a school board seat. So she's one of my mentors. And when I was speaking to her about my interest and what I love, she said, Kamilah, you're AAA, girl. Advocacy, accountability, and achievement. I am your biggest advocate. Teachers, you can guarantee that I'm going to advocate that we come back to the table to discuss this contract and ensuring that our veteran teachers who have given years of their time and their experience and their compassion to education and making sure that we're taking care of them. I am going to be an advocate for you. For our students, you can guarantee that I'm going to advocate for you to ensure that you have a quality education, ensure that discipline is fair, ensuring that you're treated with kindness and respect as a decent human being. Administrators, I'm here for you too. Please, come on. Y'all know some of y'all call. So I'm here for you to ensure that we have respectful environments that support all of our community. CCSD police, let's go. I'm here for you too. And one thing that's important that we have to understand is that the Clark County School District has a number of departments. And what is important to me is that we understand and that we work together, we build community, we change any narratives or work on changing narratives that are negative. I look forward to working with the Clark County School District Police so that we can build our community and work together. I'm here for students, teachers, administrators, support staff, our CCSD police department, and our community stakeholders to ensure that we all have a voice in shaping public education. Listen, it is absolutely true that there is an attack on democracy, including education, all right? And I hope you have an opportunity to watch Bad Faith if you hadn't had a chance to see it, about Christian nationalism and this force that wants to really make society and education all about one person's point of view and ideology. So I don't want to take up too much time about that. I don't think Rodney made it yet, and Tracy should be on soon. Did anyone else want to introduce themselves before we get to our guests for tonight? Nope. Okay. If you change your mind, I think, okay, go ahead.
Uh,
Assemblywoman Thomas.
Thank you. This is Assemblywoman Clara Thomas, and I'm on here because I still represent Assembly District 17 in beautiful North Las Vegas, where we have a number of Title I schools. And I want the best trustees to be sitting on the board, and Kamilah is one of those best of the best. And I know that she will do a fantastic job, has my full support, and I hope she has yours too at the ballot. And that's in November, November 5th. Remember that, mark that on your calendar. We're voting for the best of the best for trustees at a time when we really, truly need it. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak with everyone this evening. Thank you.
Absolutely. Always. You know, you're always welcome. And I look up to you. I'm inspired by the work that you've done in the legislature. And I look up to you, period. And I know that I have a team of people who will pull me to the side. And I appreciate and honor that. Pull me to the side. If you see there's some stuff that I'm doing that's not copacetic, please pull me to the side. And I appreciate that. And I really do look up to you. Thank you so much. Tracy just pulled in. Tracy is my other co-host, and I wanted to give her an opportunity to introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. So I'm Tracy Lewis, co-chair, vice chair of LAVAPSI, president of Wake Up, retired from Clark County School District, been with Kamilah for a really long time. And I support her at 1,000% in getting her over this hurdle. And I'm excited to see what's happening with the Black women right now. And I think I'm looking at Assemblywoman Claire Thomas. I probably need to put my glasses on. But I'm excited about everything. My hope and my prayer is this. We've been saying this stuff for a really long time. And it's like all of a sudden the light bulb just finally went off when President Biden said he was going to step aside, for VP Kamala Harris to come. And now everybody is on this whole kick about the Project 2025. We've been talking about it. We've been everything that you can think of pertaining to education, pertaining to our society. We've been saying it and saying it and saying it. And I'm hoping that this go around that folks have finally decided to wake up, because we've been saying wake up for so long, just wake up. And whatever I can do for those who are running, I'm there to support, but I'm definitely Team Kamilah. I know we're trying to also help Eileen Eady, because for the school board, we have 2 candidates that are running against Moms for Liberty. And a lot of people really still don't understand who Moms for Liberty is and what they're about. But when you say book banning or LGBTQ plus, then the light bulb goes off and they're like, oh, okay. So I'm really trying to get people to understand, like, we count votes. We're looking at who has good sense, who's not on the extreme part of crazy. And that's about students first. So I think that's all I need to say, but I'm here to help support, do whatever needs to be done. Thank you guys for allowing me to speak, and I will put myself back on mute.
Thank you, Tracy. And the last thing I'm going to say, since you mentioned Moms for Liberty, the Project 2025, which Tracy and I and our team, we're going to be breaking that down and specifically talking about how it impacts education. But Moms for Liberty is a coalition partner to the Project 2025 plan to bring these extreme conservative values to our educational system and then just society altogether. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to my colleague, and friend, Ramella Lee. And go ahead and introduce yourself to us and give us your bio. Who are you? Let us know.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Ramella Lee. I own an ABA agency here in the Valley where I work with low-income families, mainly on Medicaid, and experiencing homelessness or transitioning either from out of state coming here or various parts of their life. We provide ABA therapy for kiddos that are aged up to 5 years old in clinic, and then we work with home cases and school cases as well. On the opposite side of that, I also have a nonprofit, My Style of Life with Autism, where we try to reach out to young adults diagnosed with autism who need help with autonomy, job skills, being more independent, and creating a better life for themselves. And that usually comes with some sort of job training that will secure a higher paying job versus a entry-level position. So that is some of the stuff that I do.
Could
Yes,
you talk a
Kamilah?
little bit? Yeah, could you talk a little bit about what ABA therapy is for our listeners who
Sure.
aren't sure what it means?
Yep. ABA stands for Applied Behavior Analysis. It's an evidence-based practice for treating individuals with autism. There is no cure for autism, but there are varying degrees of treatment, and ABA is one of the higher ranked evidence-based practices that we implement. And it's often covered by insurances. And in the Las Vegas Valley, a lot of providers or agencies, whatever word you want to use, are not comfortable accepting Medicaid because it has the lowest reimbursing rate. Now, if we look at the demographics of the Las Vegas community, we know that Medicaid often comes with single parent families, families who the parents are not legal, they don't have their papers, they are struggling financially, the parents might have disabilities themselves. And so this is something that I do on a daily basis to give back to the community. And it's so rewarding. I absolutely love it. I love the kids. I think they're awesome. And at the end of the day, the reimbursement rate doesn't matter because we don't do it for money. There's no money in this anyway, to be honest with you. So yeah, good question. Thanks, Kamilah.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. And I know we wanted to talk about, so, that students with disabilities, special education, that's our wheelhouse. And I do know that goodness gracious, our school district has not done the best job in supporting students with disabilities and specifically students with autism. So I'm really glad that you're on here today so we can kind of work through this and then help our community to understand that oftentimes and I have people tell me, they're like, Kamilah, thank you for mentioning students with disabilities. And we don't bring up our students with special abilities. And I actually heard a young gentleman on TikTok saying that he doesn't like the term disability. So I think this is a whole work that we also need to do too, to, redefine the language that we're using to support our friends and families with different abilities. So I'm really excited for this conversation. And I know that you had talked about, we were going to talk about AB
195.
AB 195 and special education. So what did you want to share?
So I had put a PowerPoint together, but I think we should just talk about it, Kamilah.
Okay.
No, I just want to talk about it. I think it will be much better that way. So AB 195 targets English language learners. There are two sections. The first section targets the student rights, so to speak, and then the second section targets the parent rights. So for the student rights, it underscores the rights of English language learners to a free and appropriate public education. And we hear that language a lot in IEPs and special education, irrespective of immigration status or a native language. They are granted equal access to educational programs and services, and they are granted equal participation in extracurricular activities and essential academic supports, right? So AB 195 essentially brings in more funding, more programs, more support, and more equity for English language learners. That in itself doesn't have much to do with special education students. The way I was introduced to it is when I was doing research for my dissertation, I'm looking at reading comprehension and its relationship with high school students with autism. And as I was doing this research and looking at evidence-based practices, I noticed in the literature, in the research literature for special education, that one, home language is not mentioned in the character demographics as if it's irrelevant. And two, comorbid disabilities are not mentioned. And as any educator that's teaching reading comprehension, you know for a fact that the home language is incredibly important in trying to get these skills across for reading comprehension, right? You have to find a way to incorporate their culture into the classroom and make that transition a little bit easier. So I found that for students with autism, that being my focus, there was no, as we call it, cultural responsiveness. It was a very blank, here's your IEP goal, good luck. But as we know, autism and all disabilities in essence are on a spectrum. We have kiddos that are doing really well with their reading and writing, and then we have kiddos who communicate differently and need devices. Doesn't mean they're not equally smart, it just means that they communicate differently, right? So I started looking into AB195 and see if I could find some sort of intersectionality between English language learners and students with disabilities. So as I started doing my research on that, I found that amidst the educational landscape, particularly for Clark County School District, English language learners stand as a considerable demographic. For the 21-22 academic year, CCSD hosted approximately 77,000 ELL students. That is a huge percentage because our community is so diverse, right? We have a lot of immigrant representation. We have construction, we have hospitality, we have tourism. We have all of these things that attract people from all over the world. And we have this beautiful, rich demographic tapestry with significant immigrant representation, right? So if we look into any questions so far, I feel like I'm rambling. I'm trying to slow down.
I think we did, yeah. I think, Shaquilla, did you have a question?
Yes, I did put my question in the chat if you can read it.
Okay, let me see. Okay, let me go to the chat. Can you explain, oh yes, okay. Can you explain comorbidity for those of us who are not familiar and how comorbidity affects our learners with varying abilities? Thank you, great question.
Absolutely, thank you, great question. So having a comorbid disability means that an individual or a student has two or more different disabilities or conditions at the same time. And these disabilities interact and influence each other, impacting how the student learns, communicates, and functions. So looking at the SPED demographic, for example, a student might have autism and intellectual disability. So that student's needs are going to be completely different from a student that might be, I don't know, Down syndrome paired with autism, right? So comorbidity means that you have two disabilities all at the same time. In the IEP or special education literature, we classify it as primary disability and secondary disability. But I found that when I was working at Clark County School District, they didn't do that. They picked a primary disability and checked off a box and then moved on, which I think is very unfair to the student. Because if you have two conditions going on at the same time, you're going to learn completely different than having just autism, right? For example. So that's also what triggered my research into this.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a really good point too, because if we're, and we have a lot of work to do with how we're implementing special education and who's working with special education teachers, because special education teachers, we're not the expert on like the brain, you know, and how, that's why I think we need to work with the neurologist to help us make these classifying decisions about students. Because if you pick only one, then you're not really supporting the whole child.
I agree. And oftentimes when I was teaching, I would reach out to, for example, the reading specialist on campus, or the assistant principal, or the SPED admin, the designated SPED admin. And I really wouldn't get anywhere in terms of how do I address these two issues at the same time when it comes to reading, writing, math, because a special education teachers, we have to target all of those things. We're not just teaching one thing. And in addition to that, the way that the system is created is that we have these group of kids that are clumped into one classroom. I was doing intermediary, so I had 3rd to 5th grade, all at different levels. So where do you even begin with that, right? One of the issues. I'm trying to not be too political, Kamilah. I'm trying to stay calm.
Oh, you can, disclaimer, the thoughts on this show may not be mine. Okay, so what I say out my mouth is my thought. But you know what? One thing that is important to me is that we this is an education show, and we're talking about the most controversial topics to the easiest topics to talk about. Because what I've learned is that as I'm, you know, reaching out to communities and and being more involved from a political space, that sometimes our neighbors, you know, they don't know what's going on. So this is a platform for people to be educated about topics globally and then within our state. So say what you got to say.
Thanks. I feel safe.
Well, we
And
are
then I
live.
want-
You're safe in this Zoom, but just we are live.
I know. The emails are gonna come. It's okay.
But it's
and-
at the end of the day, we're not going to please everyone. I have somebody who's
Right.
trolling the mess out of me right now. If I say A, B, or C, you can guarantee there's going to be a tweet about it.
I hear you. Another issue that I wanted to bring up with why AB195 is so important, and it should find its way into the special education classroom, is that language barriers can sometimes mask underlying disabilities or special needs. So in the realms of educational support, it becomes imperative for educators to discern between, is it a language-based hurdle? I think that's really important. Or is there a possibility of a disability that requires specialized attention? I think it's important to distinguish between linguistic constraints and underlying developmental or cognitive complexities in devising tailored and effective intervention strategies to make sure, like Kamilah says, we take care of the whole child, not just one single portion. Another thing is the cultural and linguistic factors that go hand in hand because they impact how the student learns and interacts with educational material. That is also very important. Profound comprehension and appreciation of multifaceted factors are indispensable in fostering a conducive educational environment and for students with special needs. I think we need to do a better job of integrating culture and linguistic diversity into our approaches so that we can not only build relationship, but like I said earlier, make the student feel safe, right? Grow their confidence, make them know that they are wanted and loved and in the right place. I think that is very, very important as an educator. What do you think, Kamilah? I feel like
I want to, don't let me interrupt you because
no, you're not. We're having a conversation.
Okay,
No,
good.
no.
And so I have some people
No.
on Facebook who are engaging. So my question is, your understanding of AB 195, are you saying that this is a well-written bill that is not being implemented in CCSD?
I think it has good intent, but I don't see it implemented at all.
Yeah.
I didn't see it when I was an educator. I don't see it now when I review IEP paperwork as a consultant. I don't see it.
Yeah.
I have been in plenty of IEPs this year and last year where the IEP team will ask, is he or she an English language learner? And that will be all there is. And parents, especially immigrant parents, hesitate to say yes or no to that question. They hesitate to say yes because they don't want to deprive their child of future opportunities. They think it's a bad thing. Their argument oftentimes is, well, they speak English at school. We only speak Spanish at home. So no, they're not English language learners because in that way, English is their primary language, right? So there is a lot of hesitation in answering that one simple question that will change the course of your whole academic plan. Good intent, bad implementation, 100%.
So there is an implementation problem in the Clark County School District.
Correct.
They don't follow no laws, y'all. So, and this is a good
It's true.
sign for me. They don't follow the law. And this is
Mhm.
one thing that is absolutely important to me. We are really in a place of restoring relationship with our legislative leaders and our elected officials across the valley. And that's one thing that's important to me, is that I am in a place of collaboration and being a part of restoring this relationship. But really quick, I want to just shout out our people who are on Facebook. Pastor West is on Facebook now, so thank you for joining. Dr. Trisha Braxton, she's on our Facebook Live in the chat, and she's running for Nevada State Board of Education, District 1. Please tell me if I said that wrong. Like, I know y'all's positions more than mine at this point. Simone Davis, thank you for joining us. And let's see who else is on. My cousin April D. Washington is on. Belinda Denise, hey. And Eileen Edie, she's also on. She is running for the Board of School Trustees in District B. And let's see here, the question that we had from Simone. Are there any LCSWs, those are the social workers, right? Licensed clinical social workers on staff to assist with special education students with their diagnosis and comorbidity?
No.
Oopsie. Eileen Edie said she's so happy to see so many knowledgeable professionals coming together tonight, and this is valuable, valuable information. I don't know who Kawi is. Hi, Kawi. Thank you for joining. And let's continue. So I think we stopped at, if we could talk a little bit about what an IEP is for those who aren't familiar.
Students with disabilities are often placed on an IEP. It's short for Individual Education Plan, and that determines what the academic goals are going to be for that upcoming year. And you have a long-term goal. For example, student will be able to answer WH questions in 4 out of 5 opportunities, 80% with 80% accuracy. And then under that long-term goal, you have short-term goals. So one short-term goal might be, we'll be able to answer why questions, and so on and so forth. So you have these long-term and short-term goals for reading, math, writing, social skills, and sometimes even adaptive skills, depending on what program the student is enrolled in. In addition to that, you have adaptations and modifications that the student has rights to, such as maybe wearing headphones, extended time during an exam, maybe a note taker. And in addition to that, the third layer are supplemental services, such as speech, transportation, OT, PT, whatever the needs may be. So this individualized education plan, this IEP, becomes a legal document that outlines every minute of the student's day that the district needs to comply with. And oftentimes the district is out of compliance because they cannot meet the minutes in the IEP. That is the biggest issue, meaning the kiddo might get the flu and is gone for a week, and now they did not have access to their speech services. So now the speech department owes this student, for example, 30 minutes because he was not here. So it becomes this legal document that the special education department, that the school, that the district, everyone has to follow to meet the needs of this particular student. That's what an IEP is. In addition to that, an IEP also allows you to, as a family or as a parent, to apply for Medicaid fee-for-service. It allows you to apply for low-income programs when it comes to your utilities. It allows you to get free memberships to different places. So this IEP is a very valuable document, and it's a very important document, and it needs to be accurate. And when we're talking about AB195 and kind of skimming over the question of, oh, is this student an English language learner? We are changing their trajectory. We are not closing the achievement gap. We are widening it by limiting options. What do I mean by that? A special education student can qualify for a traditional high school diploma. they can qualify for a certificate of attendance. They can qualify for an adapted or modified high school diploma. And when you look at these three options, they don't carry the same weight in the workforce. They don't carry the same weight when it's time to transition to community college or whatever it is you want to do with life. If you have a traditional high school diploma as a special education student, you are in a great place. You can do what your typical peers are doing. There are no issues. However, if you have a certificate of attendance, or if you have an adapted high school diploma, you are going to have a hard time because most organizations will not accept that.
Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad you bring that up. Martin, go ahead and ask your question before I say what I'm gonna say.
Well, thank you. First, it's great information. I have two questions, and they're more points of clarity just to make sure I caught something correctly. Something you said and something Kamilah said. I want to make sure I'm clear on something. So, did I from a autistic from a kiddo with autism? Did I hear you say? I kind of wrote it down that we could kind of stretch them for special education for this I'll say ESL or for the learning difference because their communication style is different. Is there a reach for a accommodation for a child with autism because they communicate differently, therefore it's a different language? Did I understand you correctly on that?
In some ways, in that students with autism have different ways of communicating. We have a group that are verbal and they would communicate like their typical peers. We have a group that use 3 to 4 word sentences using keywords. We have a group that don't use any verbal language, but they use written language. So we're looking at receptive communication and expressive communication. Some students perform better at expressive communication and some students perform better with receptive. So writing their thoughts down and typing and using a device. Did I answer your question, Mr. Walker?
Yes. So it sounds like because of the different modalities that we would
Yes.
have to deal with that. Okay. And
Mhm.
then thank you for that. My other question was for Kamilah, just to make sure I understood you correctly. Because you were talking about consulting a neurologist when developing the IEP. Are you saying that that's not already a part of the of that? Because that could you because and the reason why I'm asking this question because in 195 it also talks about if there is not a educator at the school that the student already is at, transferring that student to a school where they already where they can get that communication, that language, overcome that language barrier. So that IEP would have to travel with that student so that educator would have to be able to study that and make all the accommodations. So I'm kind of tying that together to make it make sense. So thank you for answering my question.
Okay. And basically what I was saying is I think that the field, and Ramella can jump in here too, because her wheelhouse is behavior analyst. I'm not that. And I'll tell you all a story later that I had subbing at a school that I had to tell them I was subbed a class with students with autism. And I told them, listen, if we're not going to have these safety protections in order, I can't be in this classroom because someone's going to get hurt. So we'll go back to that. But what I'm saying is I believe that my critique is that the field of special education and education, we have to do a better job, whoever the higher ups, just as a field with bringing people into work with special education teachers who I think have the more experience and knowledge, like dealing with the brain and really understanding some of the symptoms that our students have so that we can work together with this collaborative team to make the best decisions for students. Because right now, special education teachers, we don't do the diagnosis, but you're kind of just reading the list and you're, okay, I think this student has this based off of, and you're supposed to look at their profiles and if they've had a pediatrician diagnose them, and Ramella can talk more about that, but you are supposed to look at all of their history. But for me, it's just an uncomfortable feeling to make these type of decisions about students when I think there's other qualified individuals who should be a part of the team, determining the scope of a child's educational journey. Did that make sense, Ramella, what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And Mr. Walker, I think you bring up a really important point. There is a big disconnect between a medical diagnosis of having a disability and an educational diagnosis of having a disability. And when we enter the school district as teachers, or when the school psych does their evaluation, they don't look at the medical diagnosis. That is just additional information that they may skim through at the end. What they're guided by is their educational diagnosis and their educational assessments. So there's a huge disconnect there. Some of the, well, if we look at autism, since that's what I specialize in, we look at the ADOS, which is a medical assessment to diagnose for autism. They are looking at joint attention, theory of mind, all the different domains of communication, adaptive skills, social skills. Are they making eye contact? How are their behaviors and things like that, which is super important information to have, right? When you are bringing a new kiddo into your classroom, whereas the educational diagnosis might look at traditional battery tests for reading, writing, playing. During the assessment, the kiddo had tantrums, it looks like this. Well, that's not really helpful, right? I need to have a comprehensive picture to be able to help this student properly. And I think that's also what Kamilah was saying, right? That you go into these classrooms and you're like, this is not going to work. We have too many different levels here. We have too many severe behaviors. They're triggering one another. And also you go into these classrooms and you're like, wait, this kiddo shouldn't be labeled with a disability. How do I change that? And good luck changing that. You're not going to be able to change that. The system has set root and we're on this roller coaster ride. You ain't changing nothing. And you try to push them out. You try to, whether you want to use the word mainstream or integrate, and you get a lot of resistance from the gen ed teachers because there's a bias there that you really can't overcome as a single teacher.
Yeah. So really quick, we got some shout outs and then we have some questions, okay? Big shout out to Sabrina. Thank you so much for joining us on Facebook Live. We got Cecily. Hey, thank you for joining us on Facebook Live. And we have quite a few questions for you. So we're going to first start with, let's see, let me go back in the chat here. So what about allowing BCBAs and RBTs, and if you could talk about what those mean in the classroom?
A BCBA is a board certified behavior analyst. They're usually the ones that will do the FBA, functional behavior assessment, and write the treatment plan so that you have goals to target. The RBT is the registered behavior technician. They are the ones that will implement the programs and take majority of the data. And they are not allowed to practice without the supervision of the BCBA. Now, Clark County School District has its own behavior team called the Links team. And because Kamilah knows, that's why she's laughing with me.
Thank you for the Links team. I enjoy the work that you're doing, but let's just get into it because our students really need support.
Because they have the Links team in place and because they ask for reimbursement from Medicaid for majority of the behavior specific services that they provide, outside agencies are not at this time allowed into the classroom. The only exception is if it's one, a charter or a private school. They play by different rules. And in those settings, the teachers want as much support as they can. And I don't know how they made this happen, but we are allowed in a charter school or a private school, but we are not allowed in a traditional CCSD school.
And is there a law that's backing this up, or this is just, is there a law or a policy?
There is a policy, but I don't know what it is. I can definitely find it and email it to you.
Okay, because my thing is this: who creates laws? People. Who creates policies? People. Hello. You know what I'm saying? And let me just say this, Tracy, what I found out about the Accelerated Academy, that's a contract. Accelerated Academy is a contract. I'm like, they have to have me on the news. But Accelerated Academy, I was trying to see what they had going on today. And I found out that's a contracted workforce that there's the teachers there are considered CCSD contractors, but Accelerated Academy handles it. So, but that, you know, I mean, come on now. At the end of the day, we need the most qualified people in the schools. Do you know if the links department gets BCBA or RBT training?
They do have BCBAs on the team,
Got you.
and
Okay.
they do have RBTs on the team. Mhm.
But they may not necessarily be those certified individuals.
Correct. And they're very short staffed and understaffed.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get support from
Okay.
them in a meaningful time frame.
Okay, and then let's see here. I think there's some other questions. Mr. Rodney, you want to go ahead and welcome back? Go ahead and introduce yourself while I look for the other questions.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry for my tardiness. My son turned 34 yesterday, and he came in town to visit me today.
Awesome.
His flight ran a little late. That's why it took me a little while to get back. Such an interesting topic. When we started one of the education boards out at Nellis Air Force Base, a part of the reason for that was because of the special education needs of the students out there. And that really had a lot to do with my foray into the CCSD school district, was trying to get help for not only the students, but specifically the parents, so that the parents could get the necessary help for their students that they thought they needed. So my question was, I want to go back to that policy, because you said it was a policy, not a law. And I wanted to know, what office does the policy originate from, or what office supervises that policy?
That is a great question, Mr. Smith, and I don't know, but I will find out. Absolutely. Do you know, Kamilah?
I do. Links. That's got to be with the what is it? Educational Support Division. My thought, Tracy, because the we don't have. It's not a special education department, but it's education support services.
Support services.
That's
Yeah.
probably under that wheelhouse. And I think somebody is asking me, Kamilah, would you support BCBAs and RBTs in the classroom? I think that question might be for me. And I absolutely do support that, because one, as a special education teacher, and listen, people, I'm in the classroom. Okay. So I have an opportunity to go around, and here's why I support BCBAs and RBTs in the classroom. I subbed a class. I got to the school, and surprising to me, I got put in another classroom, and I couldn't take it. I was frantic all day because I had a young lady, and her behavior was that she would run and hit her head in the wall. And she was literally putting marks in the wall, and her head was getting a bruise. And my first thing was, well, first and foremost, you all, if you know that this is a part of her behavior, why is this room not padded? And then I asked, okay, because I'm not a BCBA. I'm not, that's not me. Okay. I'm struggling. And I was really just trying to hug her all day, what I could do to keep her from hitting her head on the wall. And so, yes, we need BCBAs because they're trained, and RBTs are trained to work with students with autism and students who have these type of challenging behaviors that a teacher may not have the time to work with, especially if you have multiple children in a classroom. So you could imagine the class, I was with my student, making sure that she didn't knock herself out. So yes, it is absolutely, for me, I agree, we need this, we have to invest in our students with disabilities and ensure that they have the proper support and training. Because let me tell you, there's a lot of lawsuits out here. I'm just going to say that right now, period. And so if you're paying attention, some of the things that Ramela is telling you now, I'm sure you could be like, listen, and we're going to go more in depth too, because parents, you know, I remember when I was teaching at Canyon Springs, they were passing out the diploma. What was it? What's the adjusted diploma? Like nothing. And to students who really, I'm like, I don't know if they need an adjusted diploma. We just need to work with them to get the general diploma. So there's an impact to having an adjusted diploma. And I think for some students, that may be the route. But for some students, it's like we just need to work a little bit harder to help them get across the line. So yeah, so that's one of the questions. There's more questions I'm gonna bring to you. Shaquilla, go ahead and ask your question.
I would like for her to explain, or someone to explain the process of obtaining an IEP, as well as parental consent. What does that mean? And what some of the challenges that the staff teachers have if the student who needs an IEP doesn't have an IEP, or a student who obtains an IEP, and what's the process of getting, I guess, getting rid of, but not having an IEP, and what's the impact of that?
Great question. So the IEP process starts with a referral, unless they already have a medical diagnosis of a disability. Because when you sign up as a new student for CCSD, you have to mention if the kiddo has a disability or not. So let's say they're honest about it and they say, okay, my kiddo has a medical diagnosis of autism. You check off that box and you get referred to the correct people to do the assessment. Let's say you don't check off that box and your kiddo enters pre-K in a general education classroom. It is up to the teacher to make a referral to the school psychologist for a special education assessment or evaluation. In order to initiate that, the teacher and the school psych need parental consent. So at that point, the parent can sign and get the eval done, or they can say, no, I'm not signing. If they choose to not get the kiddo evaluated, then they will just stay in that classroom, and the school and the teacher will have to utilize tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 interventions to help this kiddo, right? So tier 1, if you think of the RTI triangle, Kamilah, what are some examples of tier 1?
So tier 1 would be, when RTI is response to intervention. So tier 1 would be the lowest level of support that students would get. They're engaging in the classroom. You notice that a child is maybe having some difficulty. It's very minor. Now, once you start to notice that children are struggling and they're not keeping up in the classroom with their assignments, they're struggling with the concepts, then you may take them to tier 2, which means they may be in they may work in smaller groups. Then if you notice in tier 2, they're not really grasping the concepts and the extra support is not working in tier 2, then you get to tier 3, which is now one-on-one time with the teacher, smaller groups with the teacher, and then possible referral for special education. So the idea is that we're going through this tiers, so that's the idea is that we don't want to continue to put students in special education without providing them this intervention, an opportunity to get ahead, because they may just need extra help versus needing an IEP. So that's what the tiers are about, is like really trying to determine if a student really needs an IEP, or if they're just, someone who, because they missed a couple days of school, maybe they weren't paying attention. So it's an avenue to kind of protect people from putting too many students in special education. That's how I can best.
Yeah, that's great. That was perfect. And at this point in the process, they have called this parent so many times. This parent has come to pick up their kiddo. This parent has had conversations with the school psych, the assistant principal, the principal. They have been through a lot. The parent has been through a lot at this point. And once you get to tier 3, although you didn't want to initially sign, you will be so broken that you will sign. You will sign that eval, and they will get your kiddo evaluated and placed in special education. Now, if you already have, and I don't know if that's the right decision or not, it's kid by kid basis, that's not for me to say. But if you have an IEP and as a parent, you're like, you know what, my kiddo is not benefiting from this classroom, I know that he or she can do better in a typical classroom, you have the right to revoke your IEP. You have the right to say, you know, I don't want my kiddo on this plan. I want it revoked and I want him in a typical classroom. So again, that's what will happen. He will be removed from the SPED classroom. His services will be terminated. His accommodations may be terminated. Services as in speech and transportation, accommodations such as extra testing time or headphones. He will be placed in the typical education classroom. The RTI triangle will be implemented once more. And then here you are.
Thank you. We have some other questions.
Yeah.
Ramela, I know you had like this beautiful plan. I know
It's okay.
yeah, you had this beautiful plan, but we're gonna kind of we have some questions here.
No, this is really good. This is really good conversation. I think it's
Okay.
important for people to know how special education really works.
Yeah, for sure. So Dr. Tricia Braxton, again, she's running for the Nevada State Board of Education, District 1. Would you discuss the role of special education facilitators, how they are assigned, and how many schools they are assigned to?
The facilitator is the captain of the ship when it comes to the IEP. So that is our go-to person. We have to consult with them while we are writing our IEP, and they're there during the IEP meeting to help ease the conversation or to provide more data. So that is one of their main roles. The second role is to provide support to the classroom teacher in terms of additional help on really hard days where behaviors are escalating, maybe getting access to specific manipulatives and materials or special tests. And then also they are your liaison between your classroom and everyone else on campus. They help you maybe find a more suited gen ed teacher for your mainstreaming or your integration purposes. They might help you, get access to better things. So they're a really good resource. And they often have 4 to 5 schools, depending on the level that they work at. At the elementary level, they often have 4 different schools. Each school has 2 classrooms, 3 classrooms max. So you're looking at 8 classrooms that they are administrators of.
Yeah. And guess what, y'all? I just seen there's plenty of SEIF positions open. And really quick, so Cecily wants you to talk a little bit more. The medical diagnosis isn't truly taken into account and isn't sufficient for an IEP. If we can clarify that.
It is not taken into account. It is just secondhand information after the educational diagnosis has been established. And it is completely separate from the educational diagnosis.
Okay. Okay, so let me go down here. Okay, talking about policy. So if the CC team is privately staffed, the BCBA RBT could possibly not be certified. That's defeating the purpose. Yes, because so I think what we're saying, the CC team, links may not be the people who work with links may not be certified to do this type of work. Okay.
Correct. That's correct.
Okay, let me see if there's any more questions. Okay, what is the name? Oh, what is the name of the assessment? I think you had talked about an assessment that Simone, IEP assessment. You talked about an assessment earlier for students with
I talked about the ADOS, which is a medical assessment. ADOS.
ADOS assessment. And they would have to get that from that comes from a doctor.
Correct.
Okay.
And that is the gold standard when it comes to diagnosing students with autism, medical diagnosing. Yeah.
Gold standard. Okay. Awesome. Okay, our iPhone, some SEIFs. Okay. So what is now I'm looking at the chat questions. Okay, let's see. So the question is, and why aren't BCBAs and RBTs already in the classroom?
Gosh, what a multifaceted question. Is it funding?
Probably.
Is it resources? Is it control? Is it whistleblowing? I mean, who knows? Who knows? I know that when I was teaching at Los Angeles Unified School District, we had RBTs and BCBAs in the classroom. We
Mhm.
had private agencies, and every kiddo almost had a one-on-one ratio. And I know the challenges of working with a large team like that.
Yeah.
Why we don't have it here, I don't know, but it is something that I'm definitely pushing for. I
Okay.
think agencies need to be in the SPED classrooms. We need to help with the workload.
And one thing that is an absolute challenge that I've seen across, well, I know when I worked in DC public schools, it is a struggle. It is an absolutely fight to get your child a one-to-one in the Clark County School District. If you need that, that is a fight. It's like they try to do everything they can to steer away from it. And I'm thinking, if the student need, y'all just spent 55 million something dollars on tutoring, on a tutor program, a virtual program. Like these are really big conversations that we have to have, and, reimagining and being innovative in how we're, working with students with disabilities. Listen, I am a licensed special education teacher. I'm going to take care of my babies. I'm going to be advocating as much as possible because we really are not doing the greatest job. And I do want to say, I don't want to take away from the people who are doing the work in these departments. And I know that they also need support. The leaders within these departments need the support. They need an opportunity to share from their perspective, like, hey, here's some of the barriers. Leaders, now what are you going to do about it? Right? Let's see, are there any? Oh, okay, okay, Tracy's talking to Dr. Kawi. Okay, so they're talking about that. So, we're at 7:00. Is there anything?
Already?
I know it goes by so
I
quick.
feel
We'll
like I could
definitely have
talk
to
about
go
this forever.
So you know what? I did see Assemblywoman Claire Thomas. So I do want to give a big shout out because in your review, AB 195, good to go. We just need to implement it in the Clark County School District. I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Assemblywoman Claire Thomas, look at you. And I see the 20 different languages. Is this the part, because I actually had a conversation about this today. Is this the part of the bill that says that testing should have been in different languages? And you know what? I haven't seen not a one test in nobody else's language.
Well, I know that Assemblyman Yui Wen, his bill, I can't call the number, address language accessibility that we are finding in everything, not only in CCSD, but just about everything that has to deal with any official documentation. So this is part of that that's coming into fruition because when you look at the bill, at the end of the bill, you will see that there are a number of Vietnamese, Talaga, that correct? No, it's not. But anyway, just so many different languages because here in Clark County School District, I wish I had Assemblywoman Miller because she can tell you how many different languages the school district has. And this is very important because, when you have that language in there in the document, when people are reading it, um, uh, um, the essence of it isn't lost because it's translated in their natural language. So it's necessary for us to provide language accessibility to everyone because not everyone, English is not a first language for everyone. So
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Assemblywoman Claire Thomas, did you help to write this bill?
unfortunately, I didn't, but I was one of the ones that signed on to the bill. So I am a co-sponsor to that bill because I thought it was very necessary for
Yeah.
us to engage in our community because we have a very diverse community in the state of Nevada. So we want everyone to receive an adequate, footing on education and in everything that we do. so that, to me, it breaks my heart to see a 9-year-old translating for their parent. And it should not be.
Right. Wow. Big shout out to Assemblywoman Claire Thomas out here sponsoring bills and doing what's right for our community. I hope y'all listening and seeing. Come on now. And she's on the call. Stop playing. My iPhone friend, I'm so glad that you're raising your hand because I'm like, who is this mysterious person asking all these great questions? You can go ahead and ask your question now.
Hi, sorry, I didn't realize my name wasn't on there. So I'm a parent of a child with autism, but I'm also an assistant principal here in the Clark County School District. So, yay. So, so my question is, it's pretty much, will you be having more of these conversations? Because I think this topic is extremely important. You know, my son is not a student in the Clark County School District. I made that decision last year to withdraw him because of the lack of resources for students with special needs. And so my question is, because we have a pretty strong parent group and we're trying to push for the most resources we can get for our kiddos. So I just want to know, will you be hosting more, Zooms like this to, keep the conversation going?
Absolutely. So specifically on this topic?
Correct.
Yeah, so I've been hosting Zooms for goodness gracious, how it's been almost a year? Has it been almost a year maybe? So, and this would be our first topic on special education specifically, but if you want, I don't know if you're welcome to be a guest on the show as well, but yes. Now, see, y'all about to have me in a space where I'm gonna have to start paying Ramella because now it's gonna be going into her time. I'm gonna have to fundraise.
No payment. I love this stuff.
Yeah, so Ramella, maybe if we could schedule so next Tuesday, we have Dr. Tanya Holmes Sutton. She's coming. She's running for the Board of Regents. But maybe if we can do the following Tuesday, we can have another discussion. Is there a specific topic that you want us to talk about?
Honestly, again, the whole bringing the RBTs and BCBAs.
Okay.
I know there's the the autism parent group. They're on Facebook too.
Okay.
They are drafting a bill, and I think with Leah, basically trying to see if that bill would get support. Because as we know, there is a shortage of SBTAs and IAs. And so what you have is a lot of students who need specialized needs, and they're not receiving those supports because there's just a shortage. And so that's why, I was asking the questions about would you support it? Because that kind of because those of us who know about, kids on the spectrum who do have treatment plans with ABA, they have one individual person assigned to them that helps them with every single thing. And so how would that look in the classroom? You would have more supports. But again, I'm speaking as a parent, not so much as a district employee.
Right.
But, just, trying to feel the waters for that, because I think it's important that, we get support, especially when you have these budget cuts to special education and we can't hire enough people because who wants to change diapers for $15 an hour? So especially like the situation that you had in the classroom where, with that one student, and you're just not having the proper supports. And it's unfortunate that we have a group of kids who experience that day to day.
Yeah, so definitely. So here's what I'm open to. I've been doing this already. The job for me has started now. So if the parent group wants to meet with me, do a town hall with me, we can always get together and talk about what the challenges are, develop some solutions so it can be a part of my advocacy work as I move into this. Listen, like Kamala for president said, we're gonna win this, y'all. Kamala for president, Kamilah for school board, for school board district D. We're gonna win this. So one, you have me if you want to do a meeting, I'm there. Two, we're gonna do more conversations, and like I just said with Ramella or anyone else who wants to come on, because I don't want to take up all of Ramella's time because there's many individuals. We have parents, we have students who are also can contribute to this conversation. So my commitment is after this call is to schedule the next In August, our first Tuesday in August will be dedicated back to this topic. Yes, I do support BCBAs and RBTs in schools. I support policies and laws that are investing in our students, period. And we have not done a good job with our students with disabilities, and we have to do better. Period, that's just where we are. We have to do better for our students and their families, and for the individuals who serve our students. So I'm here for all of it. Yeah, so make sure you take down my information. I'm gonna put it in the chat. You can contact me anytime. Call, text, whatever. But I would love to get with the group in person, and then also we can continue our online thing. Y'all, guess what? My yard signs are here. Let's flood these neighborhoods. Let's flood these neighborhoods. So if you need your yard sign, please make sure you listen now. I'm in district first. Okay. Now, if the rest of them want a souvenir, we gonna get you a souvenir. But right now I gotta work on these in my district. So if you're in District E, please contact me. I'm making deliveries this week to ensure that we are flooding our neighborhoods. Listen, it is a big statement if I go outside and see that my neighbor is supporting someone. So let's flood the neighborhood with my signs. See, look at Shaquilla. I want a yard sign. Okay, Shaquilla.
I don't care if I'm not in District E. I want a yard sign just in case. I could put it on my car.
I told you she wasn't gonna care. Oh yeah, in your car? Okay. But I'm gonna get magnets too. I'm gonna get some card magnets as well. All right, so I do want to leave us on this last quote from Shaquilla. You want me to say it or you want to say it about not having money?
You could say it.
Okay. Jerusha, you have something you want to say? Go ahead, Jerusha. Okay. So Shaquilla said, when CCSD says we don't have money to support our students or staff, what they really mean is, hold on, something got in the way. What they really mean is we're choosing not to spend money in the areas that we need to help students excel. Shaquilla, can I quote you on a flyer? You know, all I do is flyers. Can I quote you on a flyer for that? Because that thing is the bomb. I love that. Oh my gosh, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're all about revelation and accountability in the year 2024. So yes, you have my permission, and also I'm looking for desserts as compensation. Just in case.
Well, let me tell you something. You come out there and help me write these letters, and there will be we're gonna have Chef Ponita. We're gonna have her make some desserts for us.
Oh wow.
And we're gonna write letters to my voters. Go ahead, Miss Jerusha, Mama Jerusha.
Blessings to everybody. I just want, before you close, everybody, God bless you. And I want everybody to know that we all need to pitch in to do fundraisers. We just did one last weekend, which was phenomenal for Kamilah. And I'm going to challenge everybody on this platform. Let's do some fundraisers. You can join with me and a little team that we have. If you have a team, let's do it to get those signs out. She's done, and her family have done an amazing job. They're doing the footwork. Her and her family's knocking on doors. We wrote letters, and her team is not big. So she made a great impact, or they made a great impact on their own. But we can come in and help financially by taking our circle and creating fundraisers. We can do it. It's not how many people come, it's those that believe in the vision and the stand that this woman has taken, as well as Ramila. So let's do it. I'm creating some stuff, me and my little team, for another fundraiser. We want to make sure we have you all come, but you can create it, you know, and let us all support her and undergird her that she can be in the position that we need a voice like her in the school district. And that's all I want to say. I'm so proud of you. And Tracy, my sister, I love you. Ramila, I just heard you. Thank you so much. We need fighters. We need people to stand together to fight for our children. So God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Jerusha.
you.
That was beautiful. I know that we've gone over time, but I really want to make sure that we acknowledge our recent awardee, Evelyn Pacheco. Let us know what award you got. What award did you get?
Thank you, Miss Kim. Thank you. Hi, Claire. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Laura. You know I gotta say hi. Hi, Shagri. I gotta say hi to everybody, all the women, right? All the queens and everything. I got an award for being a veteran women. The Thomas Mack Center for the NBA summer leagues this weekend. So that was pretty cool to be the only Black women veteran standing up there and received award for being 100% disabled now too. So that was very beautiful. It came at the right time. So thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. And I think, let's see, I got that. Mr. Rodney, do you have any announcements?
I think the general has the announcements of all of the upcoming things that we have. One final comment about this particular episode that we're doing tonight. I mentioned that a part of me getting involved with Nellis Air Force Base had a lot to do with the special education needs of those students. And in the process, finding out the special education needs of the general population. And I would like to leave us with this. That was probably over 30 years ago. 30 years ago. And from what I have heard at the school board meetings and other parents, the needle on the progress for students who need special education has kind of been a little shaky. In other words, it's moved a little bit forward, then it seems to move back. And I would like to believe that it actually did move a little bit forward and stayed forward. That's what I would like to believe, but that's not what my the practical experience is telling me. And so as we move forward with whatever bills that we're going to write, and more importantly, whatever bills that have been written that may not be enforced within the CCSD, I would highly encourage those who are involved and interested to look and see what's already on paper that simply isn't being enforced. Because what we may need, it might already be there. Simply the CCSD, for whatever reason, is refusing to enforce it. And I say that because we could spend time writing another bill to do the same thing as a previous bill that already wasn't enforced. So we need, I believe, if we really want progress for special education needs, and really for the needs of our young scholars in general, let's look and see what's already on the books that isn't being enforced.
Absolutely. And you know, what's really important to me, please let the Autism Parent Support Group know that they have our full support. And what is important to me is that you have a community behind you supporting you. So you don't have to do this alone. You came here on the right day. And here's what I'm leaning into Black women. I'm leaning into Black women. I'm leaning over to Black women because we just showed something very powerful that I need to continue for not only Kamilah, but for all down ballot candidates and getting together. See, I'm trying to keep it positive because I'm happy. I am happy. I'm very, very happy that Black women have showed up to show their support for Kamilah. And, you know, this is going to, what I hope is trickle down the ballot. But this is something we need to do always and forever. Always and forever supporting our community and supporting good candidates. This is something we need to do. So my charge is that we continue to keep this momentum and get out of being a reactionary people. We're too reactionary. It's like we have to wait till the car didn't crash, the kid didn't got shot, and then we get all into it. There's a fire burning in the house and we get everyone motivated and into it. Those of you who are motivated and into this movement right now, you gotta stay with it. This is not a one-time thing. And those of us who are out here, who've been out here, like Assemblywoman Claire Thomas, Tracy, Rodney, Martin, the General, gotta say everybody's name, Regent Perkins, Evelyn Pacheco. These are the people that I see on the call. You know, if you out here and you've been out here, you know that. We need all hands on deck. And I continue to say it, and I believe that we're in this momentum, but please let's keep it. Please let's keep it, because this is important that we come together and we support our autism parent support group. This is a prime example of when our community power, this is where we need to come so that people don't feel isolated and by themselves and trying to manage this big system. Like, you have a whole assemblywoman on here today that, you know, is in it for the people, who can lead us into the right direction. So that's what this Facebook Live is about bringing us all together, restoring our relationship, having good conversations about education, and most importantly, knowing that you're not alone. I think, Evelyn, you have something else to say?
I just kind of wanted to piggyback off what you were talking about Black women support, and to talk about the Black women in civic engagement that we're having next month on the 24th. I mean, I know it doesn't go with the school, but it really does go with Black women and engaging with each other and supporting each other and really talking about what we're doing out here, ladies, right? So I just wanted to announce that. And some of the women on here are going to be our speakers, and I'm so glad that they're treading on and helping me with this and doing this. So thank you, ladies, and thank you, Shagrila, for the flyer, helping with the flyer. So that's all I wanted to say. I'm going to put it in the chat too.
Awesome. I think that's it. Did anybody have any final words? We're going to let Ramella, I'm going to let Ramella's going to be the last person, and then me. So is there anyone that wants to talk before Ramella?
I just want to say there's plenty of us Black men who support our beautiful queens as well.
Thank you. Okay, so yeah, we're going to hold this charge. We need to keep this going forever. Thank you.
Thank
so
you,
much,
brother, for speaking up
you.
for us brothers, since nobody else will.
Well,
No, that's not true. That is not true. We love our kings too.
Yeah, but
Kamilah, I will say that first of all, I don't know if everyone is aware, when the women across America did the Zoom for Kamilah, the men did as well. I don't show yet how many men were on that, but I think it was huge as well. And from what I understand, they raised over $1 million the last time it was announced of what they had raised as well. There's also another Zoom coming up, white women for Kamilah. That's coming up, I think, Thursday. So people are really out there. Yeah, really out there supporting her.
I love that.
So speaking of support, those on this Zoom who support and believe in Kamilah, let's get busy. She has a site where we can donate. We can also share that with others who want better for our schools and people on the board representing parents and students and what's right. And Kamilah is that person. So we've got to donate and help her with the campaign. So please feel free to go to her page and pull up that information and donate and share with others. Thank you.
I appreciate that. And I'm going to make sure all the links are out. Y'all, can we raise $1 million? Listen, if everybody just give $1.
Keep
Just
saying
give
it.
$1. Okay?
That's right.
Pastor West just said, and then Assemblywoman Claire Thomas is you. Pastor West just said they were on the call. They raised over $1 million. AG Ford, Attorney General Ford was on the call, and with Roland Martin. So thank you. Thank you for getting together. Assemblywoman?
Yes, thank you. This is just a PSA. On August 3rd, we will, in North Las Vegas here, have a back to school event at the local YMCA off of East Centennial. And I'm asking everyone to come out and support our community. We have free backpacks, we have free school supplies, we have free food, And the Y has opened up their pool. They've done this for the past 3 years. And the pool is supervised by lifeguards. So bring your swimsuits and bring your kiddos, because I think it's very important for us to support in this time of need right now with everything being sky high. So come on out. And, I know people say, well, we give backpacks to everyone. And, I remember being a parent of 2 children that had backpacks, and guess what? They don't last too long. So, if parents want to go to every free giveaway, then let them do it so that they can have the supplies that they need for their kiddos. So please come out on August 3rd between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. over at the Y on East Centennial and Pecos in beautiful North Las Vegas. And we'll just have a really great time. The past years, we've had a great time. We had DJs, and this is sponsored by myself and Commissioner McGurty and Councilman Churchio. So, and we have a lot of sponsors that have, will be there. And I think that you'll all have a really good time. And we're looking forward to just being partners with the community. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, we love that. Oh my gosh. Let's spread the love, y'all. Let's do this. Let's just win. Let's just win all across. Let's see. I think that's it. Any last calls before Ramella?
I got one. I got
Okay.
one. This Friday at the gathering, I'm going to pledge another $20 for your campaign. And anyone that's on the call, if you attend this Friday's gathering, I will pass the plate. And we're going to be discussing the first 160 pages of Project 2025. Just like school, we were given assigned pages to read and bring our findings to the discussion. So in doing so, I'm going to pledge $20, and hopefully those who attend the gathering this Friday will try to match, or if they so choose, give an increase more than $20 for Kamilah's campaign.
Can you provide so that sounds like a fundraiser, so I'll be there. And I'll be in attendance, and I'll donate $20 as well. And what can you give the location?
Wait a minute. Why are you donating $20 to your own campaign?
Because I'm going to invest in myself.
That's right. That's
If
right.
I want people to give to me, I need to give to me.
Okay, well, there you have it. There's $40. So who else is going to match the first $40? And,
It's the challenge 20 for 20. 20 for 20. 20 pages, $20.
Yeah, that's right. We are reading 20 pages. So this Friday from 12 to 2, usually later, at WSO, otherwise known as Westside Oasis, formerly 7 Cs, located at 808 West Lake Mead Boulevard. 808 West Lake Mead Boulevard, WSO. We got $20. Can we raise at least $200 for Kamilah this Friday? It's a small goal, but every little bit helps. Maybe it's gas, maybe it's a sign, maybe it's flyers. Whatever it is more than she would have.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Ramella, wait, was that it? Last call?
Good evening. Good evening to everyone.
Hey.
Hi, this is Victoria. You can count me in for 40.
Yes.
There it is.
Okay. We didn't turn this into a what is it? A telethon. I love it. Thank you so much. I'm gonna put my link. I need to put my link in here. Like, I'm never prepared with the link. This don't even make no sense. Okay. I'm gonna get the link, and I'm gonna put the link in the chat for you to share with your friends. And here's also what I would like for you to do. And for those on Facebook Live, Share it with 2 or 3 of your friends and let them know your friend is running for office. Let them know and see if they'll chip in $5, $10, $20 to support this campaign. Listen, it costs money to run a campaign, y'all. I'm meeting with the community. I want to be able to participate. I want to be able to provide backpacks for a school drive, but I can't do that if I don't have the funds to do it. So these are really important that I have an opportunity in District E to do events for the children. I really want to do that, but I can't without money. So your financial contributions help me to power this campaign. And we've done a good job. Y'all, we have done a good job, but we have more to go. So let's win this in November, and I believe we can do it. And Romella, I was supposed to say that at the end, but it's your turn. Go ahead, Romella, and tell us who you are again and how people can get in contact with you.
My name is Romella Lee. I am the founder of Stellar ABA and the nonprofit My Stellar Life with Autism. The easiest way to get a hold of me is to go to my LinkedIn page. I don't really have any social media and get my information from there. So I have my email there where you can get in contact with me. And I also want to say, Kamilah, I love you. Thank you so much for honestly your unwavering commitment to the special education community. As long as I have known you, we've always had discussions about what's best for our students in SPED, how we can try to, change the policies to make it better. And this is something that I have dedicated my life to. It is something that I know you have dedicated your life to. And it's so very special to me, the community that you've built. And I love being part of that. So thank you. Thank you for taking a stand and being the voice, because a lot of times people are scared. They don't want to say anything.
That is
But
true.
it's so nice to be on your team, honestly. You're a blessing. You're the best.
I absolutely appreciate that. Goodness gracious. Thank you so much. I thank you so much for answering the call. I think I had put out listen, y'all, I did an invitation. Come on in. Whatever this is education talk. So whatever you
She
believe.
sure did. Yep.
I did. I said, if you believe it's important, I believe it's important. And Romella was the first person to email me. She was like, I have a whole plan. I was like, come on, let's go. And I felt so bad. I'm like, oh, she has all these notes and all these beautiful presentations. I'm like, we might interrupt all of that, but you did such a great job kind of, giving us a foot in, and you've let us know what a beautiful job our assembly members did on AB 195. I love that. And right now it's CCSD's work now to implement and to make sure that we're doing right by our students, all of our students and our students with disabilities. So thank you so much for answering the call. I am specifically looking for people to come on the show who are whose expertise area is in conflict resolution. So as I've been going around, listening to all sides of issues and challenges, I'm like, oh my goodness, what do we do when we disagree? If that's you, if you out here, Olivia Pope and Oliver Pope, we need you to come up in here and help us to kind of navigate, like, what do we do when, we're just not in agreement? How do we make change in that kind of, there's a tension. So I'm really looking for someone like you to come on. And thank you so much, everyone. Please know that you are valuable to me. My goal and my priority is to bring all of our voices back to public education. Every single person's solutions matter to me. Every single person's challenge matters to me. And I want us to work together to improve our school district. Until next time, everyone, thank you so much for joining tonight. I know there's still some comments that are happening in the chat. For those who entered the Facebook live chat, thank you. Let's continue the conversation. And I look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to have Dr. Tanya Holmes Sutton on, who's running for the Board of Regents. So let's have a great conversation with her. And until next time, donate to my campaign and let's win this thing. Have a wonderful evening, my friends.